Hola Madridistas, welcome to the preview for match day 14 in Liga as we are going to take on Getafe at home. And these days, all of the news is around injuries. We've been absolutely decimated by them. Our star man has the mentality of a wet towel from what it looks like from the previous game. But the show must go on, and we need to somehow win all 3 points yet again and make use of this game in hand, so that we have some way of staying alive in La Liga. But yeah, to talk about all of this and more, I'm joined today by Sid, our main presenter in Madrid. But before we actually get started, a quick shout out to the sponsors for this episode, Manscaped, who are the pioneers in male grooming. And they have an incredible deal, especially this weekend for this Black Friday. So don't miss out. Use our code LBR20 at checkout for 20 actually it's 25% off and free shipping. So on top of it being a great deal, it's actually a great way to support the channel. So if you are in the market for a shampoo or something simple like a pair of undies, go do check it out and support us. But yeah, man, Sid, let's kick things off. What is your feeling after the match? What is the feeling in Madrid, most importantly? Because we're literally 24th in the table in the UEFA Champions League. Feyenoord, Celtic, they're all above us. And we're fucking 24th.
Man, the feeling in Madrid is the club, like the fans want the players to fight for Carlo Ancelotti, especially after what he has achieved with his two stints at the club. So that's what the fans want to see. And with respect to the Champions League, I think this is what the new format of the Champions League aims to deliver. There are more high quality matches. There are, say, your luck. Right now, the draw is actually a lot on luck. Like if this is a previous format, we actually know how many teams are moving into the next round or not, and we'll have one game in hand or something. So some teams which have like decent draws can actually make the most of it. A team like Atleti is scoring 6 goals for their. Like, I don't remember if they have scored. Like 6 goals is a huge. So our draw was like our away games, especially like home games. Also, it's a difficult draw, and to play like Liverpool, Dortmund, Milan, and Atalanta again will be coming with for revenge. But the good part is we have say we have Salzburg and Brest and Atalanta, and we need one victory and a draw kind of confirms that we are in the next round. And once you are in the knockouts, it's a different ball game, and that's when I feel like Ancelotti and his men will be unleashed.
Really? Do you actually see an unleashment happening? Because Ancelotti suddenly seems to think so. He said, "Man, it doesn't matter if we're 24th. We weren't ever going to make it to the top eight, so it didn't really matter." But he also said that we're gonna make it to the Champions League final, and we're gonna see you there. Do you actually feel that way?
I mean, if you say, for example, and in as much of football as we know, how many clubs would you bet on to reach the Champions League final from this one situation? In my knowledge, there's only one, and both of us are wearing the jerseys of that. Happened in 2006 when we started like horrifically under Rafa Benitez, and and then when Zizou came in, there was a shift, and suddenly we lost La Liga by 1 point, and then we went on to win the Champions League on penalties against Atleti. So knockout competition, nobody knows how to win a knockout competition better than us. And if that's our inbuilt quality, we have to, if Ancelotti can believe it, and when we have some players, say, post New Year who are fit, I think, and our star man hoping to find some form, I think we can. Like, we have the capability to be there, and it's like as low you go, the higher you'll rise. It's that's the fundamental of Real Madrid. Like 36 years in between, I think, or 36 or 32 years, 1966 to 1998, they didn't win a Champions League, and then they won 3 times. We won 3 times, and then what 7 years in a row we were knocked out in the round of 16, and then suddenly three semi-finals in a row under Mourinho, and then La Decima, and then went on to do a three-peat.
Yep,
What nobody expects us in the Champions League is what we can deliver.
absolutely, man. That's a great shot. But yeah, again, it goes back to the fact that. Um you know what a lot of people are concerned about? It's the fact that we don't really have a clear set of tactics, and that did not matter last year because all of our players they were on red hot form. Vinicius, Bellingham, Cruz, they didn't put a step wrong basically the whole throughout the season. And this season round, we're getting found out because these guys just aren't being that prolific anymore. They aren't that proactive. Some of them feel like they have their mental blocks. Some of them just cannot keep fit at all. A lot of things are going on, and in a situation like this, especially with a coach like Carlo, there's not a lot of confidence from the fans. They're all like, we have, if the players aren't really, like, really playing out of their skin, then we need a manager who's better with their tactics. Do you agree with that, or you see?
Man, like I kind of disagree on the fact that there was no tactics last year. There were tactics where all these players that you mentioned, Vinny, Tony Kroos from Carvajal, the strategy was in a way that all of them were able to excel individually, right? And with the arrival of Mbappe, the idea was to dominate, but nobody knew, like, when you change a setup that has given you so much results, how would you adapt to a new one, and how would a man like Mbappe say fit in, and that's the thing. The thing is, Carlo Ancelotti can change tactics, man. Like he like a lot of people obviously say, oh, he's he smokes a cigar, dances with the players, and wins Champions Leagues. But come on, he has won two Champions League titles with Milan, where he won it as a 4-3-3 formation, which more went on to a 3-5-2 with Shevchenko and that guy up front. And then when he won it in 2007, he won it with a diamond formation that actually gave Kaka so much, like a freedom to express. And we've seen that at Real Madrid also. Like Mourinho's team was so counter-attacking and like whatever, but when he came in, he replaced Ozil with Gareth Bale and just unleashed a 4-3-3, which was like, and he made Di Maria a number 8, who was an out and out winger.
Yeah, and
So he can
even
do
recently,
stuff.
most recently, I mean, he's the one who actually unleashed Vinicius. No, the other coaches weren't really able to get the best out of him.
Exactly. Vinicius fed a Benzema in a new role. Come on, like Benzema's resurgence post Zidane, where he won the Ballon d'Or, was under Ancelotti. There's just so many players we could name. Luka Modric, he's the one who made Luka Modric what he is, in a way. So tactically, I think he has. But what I genuinely feel is we are out of squad depth. Like the injuries are not helping, and I know it's a very sad thing to crib about that you have injured players but when your injured players are like Vinicius Junior, who was second in the Ballon d'Or ranking, Dani Carvajal, who was fourth in the Ballon d'Or ranking, it does make a difference. Like so many players are anyways, because of the new setup, so many players were playing out of position, and now people like Fede have to go more out of position to fill up spaces. Like, and I know Castilla is not famous for supplementing the first team, but right now they've been able to do that with Raul Asensio. The only thing is, I think we did get our transfer window wrong. I felt, apart from say Endrick and Mbappe, we did add a lot of star power as such, but we needed a player like, say, we should have kept Joselu for another year. I kind of felt we should have signed a midfielder because Tony Kroos leaving, nobody in the team could have filled that gap. So you needed a midfielder. And in a way, if you have a central defender like Vallejo that we spoke about last time and you're not using it, you rather, like, I think
Look, man, like,
Lenny Yoro.
okay, just planning a squad is like the hardest thing to do, right? Especially you don't have the fact that you don't have foresight. You don't know how many injuries you're about to get. This is almost unprecedented. No other team in Europe has had this many injuries, this many serious injuries. So we could not have really planned for it. I mean, even in the forward, I could understand. Okay, you need to give Endrick minutes, so you might as well get rid of Joselu. I mean, that was the whole plan there, right? And in the midfield, you have this amazing midfield on paper, and you just don't see how you can give all of them minutes, right? And then suddenly we have so many injuries, and then we are left without a midfielder. So with these two positions, I can understand the board's decision not to sign any more players, but then the defense, that's a whole other story, man. Like,
Defense was, I don't know, probably they expected Vallejo to take a bigger step. I don't think that will ever happen. I don't know. Lucas Vasquez can deliver, but also these players are aging, and I think the last season was in general very hectic. So many players, because they didn't have a proper preseason with the new setup, right? It's a and because and the thing is this season the games are coming so thick and fast. Every 3 games, every 3 days you're playing. So to change also, I don't think Carlo Ancelotti and his staff has the time, to like adapt to a new situation and change. So like that is like, for example, I feel Atleti is also facing a similar problem where they had injuries, but they have so many new players, so their results are like going winning, and then suddenly they are drawing in a way where like. So I think it's a general problem, and it can be seen across a lot of big clubs. Man City are also suffering.
Yeah.
Like it's a I don't know. It's just a new. It's the newness of this calendar. I don't know, man. But yeah, definitely the pressure on Don Carlo, man. It's increasing, and I kind of feel what would ease. Obviously, having a game in hand and a victory against Getafe would ease a lot of things. But they need a victory against Atlanta, man. A victory against Atlanta, like a 1-0, a dirty 1-0. If you want, go peak Mourinho, sit back, let whoever, like take a penalty and score. I don't care. A victory in the Champions League is just gonna ease a lot of things. And I also feel it's not a crisis, it's a concern more. This crisis was what we saw after 2018, man. That season under Lopetegui. That was a crisis where you have no clue where. Like, we had three managers in the same season: Lopetegui, Solari, and then Zizou came in. So it's because you're not that far behind in La Liga. And the only thing is to be there. You have to just be there. You have to be there. And suddenly when you when we pick up form, it's just gonna be the only thing is how much will Carlo and his team, staff will help them pick up form, because the players just don't look like they want to play in form right now.
Yeah, it's just so weird, man. Like the last year's winners, when they're 24th in the Champions League, where teams from Turkey, teams from Scotland, teams from fucking Italy, and the lower ranks of the league on are there above us. That's where it's so baffling, and then fans just can't accept it. And we can say, okay, we had a ton of injuries that nobody else has had, but still, like I feel like maybe a different coach, a more tactically astute coach, would have guided the team better. But these,
Maybe, and we
yeah,
know that coach right now is either sitting and chilling at his home in Madrid, or he's coaching Bayer Leverkusen. So
yeah,
it's either of the two. And to be honest, I'm just gonna say this because there are so many rumors of there's so many stories I'm reading about this. I'd rather have Carlo Ancelotti finish the season than Solari take over.
yep,
I'd rather give Carlo a proper farewell, because if he goes right now, he's not gonna come back. And if he, if he's still in the title race, a champion, I feel Champions League, say quarterfinal, semi-final, quarterfinal, say, I have the belief that we will make it to the next round. I don't think that will be a problem. Obviously, it helps if we are lucky in a draw. We might get a Celtic or something in the round of 16, the new round of 16. But I don't want Solari. I know he's very close to Perez and his team, and he has been like like but he didn't work in Mexico. He didn't work at Real Madrid. Obviously, he definitely trusted Vinny a lot.
yeah. But for sure, like
But
he wasn't even that great in Castilla, to be honest. And then everyone was like really surprised about his appointment. Yeah, but yeah, man, I don't think
yeah,
that is what fans are looking for. Like we know, like just for the rest of the season, like nobody else should come in. Maybe apart from Zizou, if he's available, maybe we can bring him in.
yeah,
But nobody else, not a single person would want to switch away
yeah,
from Ancelotti for this season. But
yeah.
yeah,
So you want to see either like Zizou, Xabi Alonso, or Alvaro Arbeloa. I've seen his team play. He has a great record with the junior teams. I don't see any other. The thing is, I don't know. It's just a bad season where it's going wrong for a lot of big teams. Like, so, and obviously, like last season, in spite of these injuries, we were able to win. that's where the board had a lot of, that Ancelotti could do it. But this is the other side of the story where it's not working for him. And
Absolutely.
what did hurt after the Liverpool game to me was when Jude Bellingham said that Liverpool wanted it more than us. And I have to be honest, I had no expectations that we're gonna win at Anfield. I'm so like obviously our record against Liverpool is great, but I didn't expect because so many injuries and the way Liverpool were playing. But the attitude of the players, man, like they were so lost.
Yeah, and you
So
have to like look at the
that
circumstances that the teams went into, right? Liverpool didn't really need any results from the game. They could have played the second tier or under 19s even, and then they would have been happier. But absolutely needed to win. And then if you go and have a showing like that where nobody's taking a proactive decision, everyone's like passing it back or taking the wrong decision in the match, it just doesn't sit right with us.
Yeah, exactly, and I completely agree with you. It just doesn't sit right, and that's I feel. I'm also hoping that, like, I kind of believe that I'm just in that zone where the players haven't lost that trust in Ancelotti. Like I kind of feel there would be a divide inside, obviously inside this um, the locker room, but if anybody who can change it is Carlo.
Yep,
Like like right now, what's happening with Pep? Obviously he will change it somehow, you know but I don't expect Pep to change it. Like I am not like a comeback is not something that I associate with Pep. But with Carlo, I feel he can. I don't know what. Obviously the idea would be to defend La Liga and Champions League, but I would be very happy with like a Champions League semi final or a quarter final and winning La Liga, because our forwards are not working anyway apart from Vinny. And I feel when Vinny comes back, the game would be a little different.
definitely. Yeah, man, like there's a couple of comments here that Sunil is also in the comments. He says, "Pick up the panel." Mr. Fortress says, "I hate my life, and if you're going live to the next match, just make sure you boo M trash into oblivion." Yeah, there's a lot of
There,
hate around our players, right? This is why I wanted to bring up Mr. Fortress's comments, and then he was like, some of the other comments were Jude Bellingham, the ultimate big game choker. I don't care what he says, he's a fraud. Um,
Jude Bell, if Jude Bellingham is a fraud, then the guy who is commenting literally has no life, and
it's
he
not
can't
about no
see.
life, man. Like it's true. Like we can't defend against that, right? In the biggest games, he has low key gone missing, or he's just not been the same player that he was maybe before that, right? We've seen that.
And what I don't know, man. Maybe it's coming from the Jude bias that I have, but it's more like, man, all big games last season he was there. Clasico, he won us both Clasicos.
Yeah, Classic was
The
there.
the
The
game again.
Bayern game, he was absolutely working his ass off. That's just what happens in a bigger game, man. These players have more defensive priorities, and Jude Bellingham sometimes he gets
Yeah,
lost in there, and then he doesn't have enough energy to actually contribute up front. That's what happens.
yeah, like as when we said, like when we were speaking to Sidlow, he said, he was gonna be the victim of his own success. The number of goals he scored, when it's not replicated, people will doubt him. But he has a new role, and I kind of feel last season also, if you remember the City game at the Etihad, the goal that I think Rodrigo scored, the 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 touch came from Jude Bellingham. Like I remember, he controlled the ball and passed it on the wing, and then the ball was passed to Rodrigo and he scored. So he was the one who, in a way, pre-assist. If I don't want to sound like a Barcelona fan where I use the word pre-assist, but if you measure a game by goals and assists, then no, in a Champions League final he had an assist. Like this season, obviously he has also had his share of injuries, but in his new role, like he is running. But talking about the other player who is getting a lot of hate,
Mbappe.
I'm just gonna give you like an incident. I was talking to Sunaid yesterday night, and there is a retro football kit store outside my house in Madrid, and they had a huge is like a huge caricature of a teenage mutant ninja turtle who was every day till yesterday wearing a Real Madrid kit.
Uh huh.
They removed the Real Madrid kit, and they covered the Teenage Mutant, like the face, uh, with a Darth Vader mask. They were like, we don't want to show it's Mbappe.
Oh
So
wow.
and,
Yeah, like the other
and
crazy
today,
reaction. Did you see the video where I believe it was a fan from the US? He actually burnt a Real Mbappe kit, a Real Madrid kit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He burned that kit and he said, my faith in Mbappe is over. But obviously, see, I'm not gonna say this, but see, for example, I was saw this reel by this Spanish content creator, and he said, like Mbappe, like there's never gonna be a time where it's late to be what you want to be. And he quoted Zidane, where people said, the team played better without Zidane when Zidane came in. um, Luka Modric was labeled as the biggest flop Real Madrid has ever signed. He
Yeah.
went on to win a Ballon d'Or. Toni Kroos, people said his peak was 2010. If Guardiola doesn't want him, we know what Toni Kroos did. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't win a trophy until the last match of his second season. So obviously he will show, but it's just like Ronaldo would. The big problem with, like, I know we know Mbappe will succeed, but the idea is body language, is attitude. The game against Liverpool, when he's playing on the left, right, off the ball, he was moving centrally so that Jude could go on the left and track back. So Jude had to literally run extra, which was obviously you have to play to Mbappe's strengths because that's how the team has to be built around. But I don't know, man. It was just, and I'm telling you, I put out a story when Mbappe scored 3 penalties in a World Cup final, and I said I am a fan. Like I said, I'm a fan, and then when that Liverpool penalty was happening, I could see his face, and as a normal guy sitting in a bar, and I'm just like, he's gonna miss. I had,
Yeah.
like, I said, please give it to Jude or Luka Modric, and I was watching with my friend, and and she was like, no, Sid, he's gonna score, and I was just like, I don't have this that he's gonna score. Give it to Jude. Give it to Luka Modric.
It's just a
His
gut feeling.
confidence is
I don't know
there.
if it came from the face or his body language, but yeah, almost every single Real Madrid fan like, here we go again. This guy's gonna
This,
absolutely.
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just there are so many things going wrong with Mbappe. It's just, the way we discussed this last time. The way he's getting chances, the positions that he's getting. The thing is, on the left also. Did you think he had an impact on the game like Vinny would have if he played against Liverpool?
No way. So that was what was the most depressing for me, man. Like I know maybe Liverpool didn't get out of second gear for this game, but imagine if we had Vinny for this game. I think we could have actually nicked it. I think we could have won it. The difference wasn't that big, especially in the first half. We actually could have won
Yeah,
it if we had better quality up front.
yeah. It's just I don't know. And remember that I think it was the save that Thibaut Courtois made and then Raul Asensio cleared off the line. Remember the actions of the game. He has the ball, he cuts it in, he's trying to dribble past the player. The first guy he dribbled past is Mo Salah. Then he cuts it in, and then Salah tracks back to take the ball, and he just loses it. And I'm just like, it's not the Mbappe I know. I'm just thinking, I'm just like, okay, this is something seriously wrong here. Where I'm just like, because even in those bad times, you remember when Ronaldo was not winning, man, he would go, he would blast it out, man. Like on the pitch, frustration is there, the reaction is there, and you could see he wants it.
Yep.
Like it's 2009-10. I remember like the Clasico, when Pellegrini was the manager. Ronaldo missed an open goal, and a defender, like, I think Valdez made a save, and Kaka had passed him the ball. That could have been 1-1, and Ronaldo was furious. And the next moment he had the ball, he dribbled past four players, creates it for Higuain. Higuain misses an open goal, and he's like, so I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
with Mbappe, I don't see how he's
It's
gonna.
multiple things, man.
I
Like
don't know.
lack of confidence. Maybe he's not 100% fit. He doesn't look as fast anymore. He's bulked up a lot more from previous seasons. So he doesn't have that explosiveness that I can see. That he's certainly lost a step. There's a lot of things going on, and all of these things, if they have to come back to him, he needs time. And I just don't see other
He
things
need
happening,
def-
man. But yeah, let's actually
definitely needs
go
time.
go towards a bit more positives. from the game. But yeah, let's take a couple of comments. Mr. Fortress again says Jude ghosted in every single knockout of Champions League last season. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, he did not have the best of games, but he still was an important player, man. He really just, even if he wasn't scoring or having an impact in the offense, he certainly made up for it in the defense, for sure.
Yeah,
Michael
I
is in the.
think
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
like apart from Fede Valverde, I think Jude Bellingham is the player that does the most running for us. So
100%. Yeah, the effort is always there. It does. The only question is, can he actually have some impact up front? And only then the fans actually say, okay, this guy is playing. He had a good game. And if they don't see the assists or the pre-assists or the fancy dribble, like they just don't think he has a good game.
yeah, man, he's not a YouTube player. He's a footballer. He's a proper footballer. Jude Bellingham, man, comes
Yeah.
from Birmingham. He's our Jude Bellingham. I love that guy. So
Oh, yeah. Michael is in the comments. He says, this ain't the early 90s. You're a broke league. You can't compete. What's that? The classic Premier League fans are back, man. Just a couple of defeats. That's all they needed to actually come back.
the broke league, we can't compete. Man, we're just say 4 points behind Barcelona with a game in hand. So I don't know what competition is, but obviously La Liga is not won on match day 15 if you watch football.
I think he's even.
And if it's
I think this guy is Michael is a Premier League fan, and then he's more referring to the fact that La Liga doesn't have that much money, and then we're not gonna win it. We can't compete.
no, that is true.
La Liga
La
as a
Liga
whole,
does not. Real
but
Madrid has.
yeah, Real Madrid has a lot of money, Michael, and we're gonna be there. We're gonna knock out the cities, the Chelsea's, the Liverpool's every single time and time again. And when the time actually comes, when it comes to the knockouts, when it comes to the finals, we're gonna be there.
Yeah, like expect us. Like one bad season, you can't. It's an in process bad season. If it's a bad season or not is when we get to know in June. Yeah, but if it's such a bad season and you're still second in La Liga and qualifying for the next round of the Champions League, you're like not a
Definitely.
problem.
Yeah. And Mr. Fortress again, he has a couple of comments about Mbappe. I'm gonna read the comment about Jude though. He says, yes, that's not what we bought Jude for, right? He can't escape the criticisms by doing something he wasn't supposed to. Man, I actually don't know about this. Like in most of the bigger games, like he's asked to play a lot deeper. He's asked to defend a lot more, and he just does what he's told. And I don't think he's just doing something he's not supposed to.
Like the question is, see, last season Jude was told to do something else. He was said, and he said, I think in his interview right now, the pre-match, I think conference for Liverpool, I was listening, and he said, like when I was signed, probably arguably one of the greatest players for Real Madrid, Karim Benzema left, and Ancelotti wanted me to contribute with goals. So that what like the initial mindset is what they had when they signed him. He was told to score goals. Now next season when you sign Mbappe, the expectation is Mbappe to score probably more goals than Jude did last season, and Jude has to take a step back. That's what he has been told this season. So if you tell somebody two things two different times, there's one side who's be criticizing for offense, the other side would be like, oh, he's not running enough, he's just ahead. So the criticism is a part of the game, but you tell me Jude is not trying his absolute best, then against Liverpool also, man, he was making those challenges. He was the one who's trying to create something. So it's just it's a bad. So when it's like it's a bad phase, it's a bad phase for everyone.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
maybe
the only
probably he
thing
wants to step
criticism
back.
I would have of Jude from the Liverpool game is that maybe he didn't need to play so deep. Maybe he didn't need to like try to chase the opponent and try to get the ball so much. Maybe we have been smarter about his pressing and stuff because clearly, like especially in the first half, we knew that Modric and Camavinga actually outshone him, and that just doesn't happen usually. And sometimes he does get carried away with all of this stuff, and he needs to be smarter about it. That's my only criticism. But you can't
Yeah,
take away his effort,
probably.
man, ever.
Yeah, probably. And like the thing is also, I feel during defensive transitions, right? When I said behind, he has to press at a position where he's not playing inside a game. So when there's a defensive act going on, like if Mbappe is moving to the center and Jude is moving into the left to press, he's like, when you press as a left winger is very different. When you press as a number 10 or a number 8 is very different. But if you're asking a number 8 to press on the left wing, where the left winger moves in a center forward, I am just like, okay, if he's trying, it's good enough. But there's only like a limit to what he can do. But yeah,
Yeah,
probably it's also the first time. He's like, tactics is, when you're trying something new, you only practiced it for 3 days, and the calendar doesn't give you time to. I don't know, like probably him and say Vinny have a better understanding with respect to movement and pressing, and he suffered a lot when Mbappe was on the left wing.
exactly.
So, and because Vinny, when he dribbles, he creates a lot of space for other people when he dribbles. He can go wide, and with one change in action, he would probably just suddenly like take a turn, probably towards the byline or inside, and there are three players free. But Mbappe is one of those dribblers who's just gonna go at the defender, gonna go
Exactly.
that step over. So, and maybe it's just difficult. And to be honest, Liverpool were playing great. Like, I have no shame in saying that. Like, Jude also said that in the post-match conference. They're probably one of the best teams in Europe. Arne Slot, whatever you have done, you have made people forget Klopp within months, which is not easy. So
Yeah,
it is what it is, man.
for sure. Yeah, before we actually move into some positive other stuff apart from Mbappe and whatnot, Mr. Fortis has the last comment. He says we need to sign at least 5 to 6 players for next season's window, and that's never gonna happen. But that's what we need. Do you actually think we need mass exodus, or we need to get rid of a few players, bring a lot of people in? I understand for the defense we do, but 5 to 6 players from other positions. Do you think we need that?
We need three defenders for sure.
Yeah,
We need one more. See, we need a right back
yeah,
first, proper, because after an ACL injury post 30s, I don't trust what kind of recovery will that be for Carvajal. Great player Carvajal, but like I am coming from a like family of doctors, man. So when I speak about ACL, I have no, like, probably we are Real Madrid have the best people for rehab and everything, but how fast can a player come back post 30s from an ACL? So we need a right back. The person linked is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Not a huge fan, but let's see. We need a center back. That's out and out. We need a center back. When
we need
Alaba
one center
comes
back or
in,
like at least maybe two. We don't know how in what form Militao is going to be back. Both of his legs are like, have been subject to ACL injuries. Alaba, I don't
yeah,
think I'm just gonna put him in the same category as Vallejo for now until like we see him on the pitch.
yeah, exactly. So I say one because I liked what Raul Asensio did in the last three games. This is why I said one, and we know we are in for a left back because one of Fran Garcia and Mendy has to leave. Like, we know there are rumors.
Like I just don't
So
understand. Like you see the huge drop with Mendy right this season, and still we gave him an extension. Like what is the idea there? And then suddenly we is the plan just to get rid of Fran Garcia and bring in who was it like Davies?
I
Is
kind
it?
of, yeah, Alfonso Davis is probably the name that is probably the first on the list, but I don't know, and like, with respect to that left back position, we know what Mendy can do defensively. Like, Ancelotti has
Are you
gone
really
on
sure? Like
record and said,
I don't know, man.
but
I don't know.
this season,
Like this season's Mendy, he certainly lost a step. He doesn't look. He actually looks more vulnerable than our right back Valverde.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like this season he's just, and this season that drop off is just incomprehensible. You're in that zone where you're like, what am I seeing? You're saying that for so many positions on the pitch, by the way. What am I seeing? Who are you? But and then also the way the expectation of it, how Fran Garcia would transition is not what we had expected. Like, probably they would have. The thing is that they signed him from Rayo. They got him back from Rayo to obviously give more strength, but also to transition from Mendy. But I feel the pressure to play for Real Madrid, being a Spanish player from Madrid, I don't know, and he's not given consistently getting consistent opportunities. So let's say we need four players in defense: one left back, one right back, two centre backs. I don't think we get four players, but say we get goalkeepers. Why? We need a midfielder, man. I am too in for getting Florian Weds. I have no problem. Like I need somebody who can pass the ball because our players right now, whoever we have, their ability is to take the ball for carry the ball forward with movements to and like they would probably when they get an open space they would run in that space with the ball or exchange 1-2 to create space, but
Yeah, I
we
mean,
need
in other
somebody who
words,
can
all we
pass.
have are box to box midfielders. We don't have like a tempo setter. We don't have a playmaker.
Yeah, exactly. We need somebody who could have the Tony Kroos profile. Nobody can be like him. And also there will be so many players I feel will be leaving. I feel it's the end of Luka Modric. um, I feel I do expect one of the front three to leave also. Rodrigo, Vinny, like I'm not saying Vinny is gonna leave, but I know if Suned is listening to this, he could kill me. But I have a gut feeling like to accommodate Vinny and Mbappe, they'll have to sacrifice a big name like Rodrigo. Like because Jude is not going, Fede is not going. Uh, who else? Kamavinga won't go. Dani Ceballos could go, should go,
Should go.
but he was okay.
He was
Yeah,
decent,
but
man.
I feel he was
He
against
has,
Liverpool, right?
yeah, he has these like 4 or 5 games in the season where he's like pretty decent, but then he has one shit game when Ancelotti realizes I cannot play this guy in the season again.
Yeah, but also like because he doesn't get consistent playing time. So the thing is like for a coach, say for example, a player like just for an example, like sometimes people don't they are not great in training, but they're really good when the game begins. An example was Hazard at Chelsea,
Yeah,
you know, and Dani Ceballos, there is a reason why he's not getting time. That is 100. But against Liverpool, I remember he put in a few tackles. He's trying to like control the ball. He's a good backup midfielder, yes, but we need one player, man. We need a midfielder. And if gonna be a change in coach, the change in coach is gonna ask for a lot of, not a lot, but a few players who suit his profile. So I don't know. Let's see. Forward line, I still feel we need a. I need like a striker who's like La Liga proven, score 10 goals in a season, who can see. Endrick is too young to be Real Madrid's number 9. Mbappe is not a proper number 9. So when things are not working out as a diamond or these two guys as
man.
inside
Still, like,
forwards,
if Mbappe is not our number 9, like, what is he exactly? What is he to this team?
that's right now he has to excel at that position. That's it. But I'm just saying, if that doesn't work, we need somebody we could cross the ball to. That's old school football. When things are not working out, you cross the ball inside the box, and you need a player like Joselu who could score. Get Borja Iglesias. I don't care. 10 minutes in, the idea is right now our physical presence in the box is zero. So when your strategies are not working, if you remember Juventus against Bayern when Pep was the coach, and the first leg ended 2-2 at the Allianz Arena, and this was no in Italy, and then the second leg was at the Allianz Arena, and Juventus scored two early goals. Morata scored one, and Pogba I think scored one, 2-0, and Pep Guardiola was completely dominated by Allegri. Like there was that 45, 50, 60 minutes. Muller, Lewandowski, Robin, Ribery, none of them were working. Last 20 minutes of the game, Bayern scored two. What is Pep Guardiola doing? He gets on Douglas Costa, Kingsley Coman, and he's just crossing the ball inside for Lewandowski and Muller. Like, that is like plan B for most of the teams.
It was a plan B
Right
last
now,
season.
yeah, for us, Jose Lu against Bayern, that was literally cross the ball and inshallah. That's basic, like when things like Simeone has been doing this for like 10 years to consistently play in the Champions League. The team we are going to play again, Getafe, Bordalas, he's known for that.
Yep.
Sit back, it's going to happen. For us also, if things are not working, that's like that's where you play on probability. And right now, who do you cross? I don't expect we need to score a header. Do I expect Kylian Mbappe to score a header? Maybe, but will he score a header? No.
Yep.
If Vinny crosses in for the box, the only person who could reach there is Jude Bellingham. But right now, he's not supposed to be playing or making those runs.
Yep.
So it's a good chaos we are in. This is why we need a strength like a powerful transfer market next season.
Definitely. Yeah, man. And gonna take a couple of more comments before we go into the ad break. Michael says you can keep that B grade Odegaard as well. We're gonna keep him, and he's gonna turn into a classic number 10. He's gonna. I feel like he has a maybe even higher ceiling than Ozil, man. Like he just seems to have that
Odegaard.
aura. Yeah. No, I'm not talking about Odegaard.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking about
no.
Arda. Arda will prove
Arda
himself.
Güler.
He just needs time, and it's the same thing. And he
Kept.
also says Mandem thought they could do a Galactico 2.0 and get away with it. You frauds. We we just
Man,
signed one player. We signed Mbappe, and how can you call it a Galactico 2.0?
and
We
also historically the Galacticos didn't work. So
yeah,
there's a few La Ligas in, no Champions League post 2002. Beckham, Ronaldo, Figo, Ramos, Herrero, Casillas. Historically, we won, I think, one La Liga under Fabio Capello. So yeah, so the Galacticos didn't work, and yeah, one signing is not a Galacticos is when you sign 5 players, 6 players. Like 2009 was a Galactico transfer window.
truly,
Ronaldo, Kaká,
yeah,
Xavi. What PSG had 2 years back, Messi, Ramos, Donnarumma, that's a Galactico. But when you have signed proper filing, United did with Zlatan, Pogba, Henrik Mkhitaryan, like big names. We signed a 17-year-old and the best, probably one of the best players in the world. But there's only two of them.
yeah.
But
And one of
I
them came
don't
for
even
free.
think we.
It certainly isn't a Galactico, but I feel like Michael, like you might, this team might prove you wrong. This is probably the only team that can prove you wrong like this. And we look like the total polar opposites from the start of the season and towards the end of the season. So
Yeah.
you never know.
And yeah, and the thing is, I don't know, sound robust, man. We've won 2 Champions League in the last 3 years. Give some other people some chances also. We've reached the semi-final back to back for 4 years, right? 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years back to back. So where did didn't Zidane also reach the Champions League semi-final before
I
bowing out?
think so. It was Chelsea
A
that did us
quarter-final.
in, right? Um, I think it
Or
was a
was no,
quarterfinal,
I
and then
think.
Chelsea did us in that season, 2021.
Oh no, probably it was we lost to City where Rafael Varane had that stinker, and then
That
Chelsea.
one.
Yeah, I could be. I probably don't remember.
But yeah, that just goes to show, man. Like we will be there no matter what, and we don't need a Galactico 2.0 to do it.
And also give you a stat on this. Carlo Ancelotti has coached Real Madrid for 5 seasons in his life. He's reached the semi-finals and the Champions League all 5 seasons. In his first semi-final, Bayern, he thrashed Pep's Bayern 5-0, lost to Juve in the semi-final. Then when he came back, again it was Pep's City to Rodrigo, that miracle night. Next season, again we lost to Pep City. Last season won. So it's a if Champions League is a concern. But I also I don't know. Obviously out of context with respect to the comment, but when Kylian Mbappe was signed, right? When I was speaking to the fans outside, there was this eeriness outside the Bernabeu. We could dominate La Liga like a lot of clubs did in different leagues, like Juve, City are doing right now, PSG, where because Barcelona were not
Competitive at
say
all.
not in contention. They are in much bigger chaos than us.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ancelotti is the man for that though.
Yeah.
I
Dominating
love
in a
it.
league. Yeah. Man has
Yeah,
never
like
defended a league
but
title, man. That's just the clear tag.
yeah, yeah. So if that is the idea, probably the idea would be that, but like but it is what it is. But I feel he will turn it around, man. Like
Yeah.
but just don't get Solari in, please. Like I'll
I don't
stop
think the
doing
club
friendly
are gonna
games.
go for him as well. I feel like Perez is definitely gonna wait until the end of the season and just if you're getting rid of Cancelotti, then it's gonna be for a much more proven candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are only a few coaches in the market who could be How many coaches are there in the market you would want at Real Madrid right now? This is Zizou, Zabi Alonso is probably he's gonna be in the market in the summer.
Yeah.
You don't. I don't think Klopp suits Real Madrid. There's was Thomas Tuchel, who obviously we know wants to coach Real Madrid. He has not hidden that fact. I remember when he lost with Chelsea in the press conference, he said that no, we lost with Bayern also last season. He said, the wrong that entire that incident of the last minute goal. It wouldn't have happened. It was the other team. He steps out of the press conference and he sees Florentino Perez, goes and gives him a hug, and he's like, "Hi, you, Mr. President. Very nice to you." So it's a you know how football works.
Yeah.
So I don't see any other coaches. So
Yeah. Michael says Ten Hag. Yeah, he's gonna have to stick to the Premier League where he belongs, man.
Ten Hag is going back to the Dutch league, I feel.
Oh wow.
I,
I wouldn't want to do that to anyone,
like,
but yeah. Sid, let's
I
let's
actually
actually go
don't
for the
get.
ad break, man, and then when we come back, let's just go into Getafe and the game. I feel like we can go on and on about the problems with the squad, the manager, other people's vision about Real Madrid, but we're just gonna be there, and I feel like it's too early to write off this team, no matter what everyone says. I feel like we're at a low, and then it's just gonna go up from here. We're not gonna go down because how many more injuries can we take? I don't think we can have more injuries. That's just the fact. So yeah, Doris,
Exactly.
take it away. Let's come back in a while.
Hola, Madridistas. I'm back once again to remind you that if you want to help and support this project of ours, this channel, you can do so by going to manscaped.com, using our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You help us out and you get a cool product. This time I'm here to introduce you guys to the Chairman Pro. It is a trimmer that features two interchangeable blade heads, one called the blade foil, which is to get that super smooth baby skin, and the other one is called the stubble trimmer for if you want to still have that little bit of stubble, but look a bit cleaner and fresher. You can do both with the same trimmer. It also features flex adjust technology. It adjusts it to your face, how you shave. You can also lock it for a full precision. Best thing is waterproof. You can shave yourself in the shower if you want to. It's completely waterproof. It features 75 hours of battery life. So if you're going on some kind of travel, you can charge it beforehand and it will still have enough battery for the trip. Also, if you're going on a trip, you can lock it so that it doesn't turn on as you go. It has an LED. It's a great thing, and especially now that Christmas is coming up, if you want to send it as a gift to your boyfriend, or if you're a man, get it for yourself or your brother, dad. It's a great gift for any man, and this bad boy can even get up to like 5 days of beard, so you don't even need to trim it down before you can fully shave it. This does it for you. So yeah, get this at manscaped.com. Use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That's code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.
Oh yeah, welcome back, folks. And you heard it from Doris. And this time around for Black Friday, it's gonna be 25% off instead of the usual 20. So do make use of the offer, and yeah, it'll really help us out as well, like we mentioned. Sid, you were saying?
Guys, I'm just gonna reset. Please use Manscaped products because I use a few of them and they're really great. I don't want to say it out on public what, but genuinely, some of them are really great, especially if you want support inside.
Hmm. Yeah, I have a pair of their
So,
underwear. What else do I have? I have a pair of the trimmers. I
um,
use their not sanitizing, moisturizing lotion. It's so good. It smells just
yeah,
so good. I don't know. I just feel
yeah,
like
exactly.
people just want to lick it up. That's just how tasty
Yeah,
it smells.
and and one perfume also I have. Man, to be honest, completely agree with the underpants. The underpants are very comfortable.
Yeah.
Like it's a for a man. I don't know. We are not very choosy. I'm digressing from the topic, but that's very comfortable. It's genuinely, I'm gonna give that to Manscaped.
Yep.
I'm currently wearing one also.
You're
If
wearing
on
one? Wow.
TMI. Yeah, I can't show it, can I?
No, we don't want to see it, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever, guys. Yeah, let's get back into the actual match day coming up on Sunday. So, they're gonna be facing off against Getafe, who are 15th. They have exactly one goal from open play the whole season, and it was by Alvaro Rodriguez, our Castilla player. So there you go, man. They're just finding it so hard this time around to actually get results away from teams as well. Last season they're able to eke out these points, make it difficult for all teams, but this season, like that, just hasn't worked out for Bordelas yet. And
Yeah, man. I think the absence of Mason Greenwood is something we could highlight. But also, like away from home, Getafe haven't been great. I think they only have 2 points away from home this season, and which was I think one of them was against Bilbao, I think, but they have literally have like 2 points from the 6 away games that they have played. So it's one good thing for us. And looking at this fixture, like what happened last year also, that was the game where Jude Bellingham announced himself to the Real Madrid faithful, that 91st minute like winner, and he goes on to the corner flag and does his trademark celebration for the first time. So that has some weight. And I don't know, I don't expect Getafe to score. I don't but they will defend though. We know Bordalas, he's gonna have two walls.
yep,
Two buses. I don't know what quality buses, Mercedes or some. Can we say low quality? I would not use the name of a country. Low quality, but and they've only won like I don't think they've beaten Real Madrid since 2008. If I'm not wrong, they
they've
haven't
never
beaten
beaten
us. I
us,
think.
but they always give us a hard time.
Oh yeah,
That's to be expected for sure.
a hard time. And I remember when they announced last season that they're building a new stadium to replace the Colosseum. They had an ad that how the stadium is going to look like, graphic, and the stadium would be such where you could see things on the outside of the stadium. And the dream that they showed people was they are beating Real Madrid 3-0 at their home stadium. And I was just like, this is, I'm just like, why is every club after us, man? Like we show beating Barcelona or something, but no, it is what it is.
Yep, they're definitely
But they
having a hard time this season, and I'm not sure. Do you think they'll actually manage to stay up this season?
that will be the goal. I think that will be their goal. Like how do I say? Like if, that's their goal, kind of there every season. Last season was a one-off where Mason Greenwood kind of really like impacted the team. But yeah, they are in that relegation. They will be in that relegation fight. But I also feel, how do I say, like
There are worse teams.
in yeah, like I kind of feel Valencia is gonna make a comeback. I feel because the emotion around the city and tragically whatever happened, I feel they might just survive. So I feel it's gonna be like Espanyol, Valladolid, and Alaves is what my this thing is. But I just feel they might just survive, just be like a 16th
Yeah,
or a 17th. But they have a better, say, what do I say? They have more victories than us in the last two games.
the last
They
two
did
games.
beat Valladolid. Yeah. They beat Valladolid, I think, 2-0.
Yeah.
And then they had a Copa del Rey victory in midweek 3-0. So they did get a few goals in the last two games.
But
But
again, man, this is the
goals have
Bernabeu. It's going to be our game to win or lose or whatever. And
yeah, man.
luckily for us, there were a lot of talks of basically like all of our starting 11 was injured after the Liverpool game. That was the reports that came out. Brahim, Bellingham, Mbappe, all of them had knocks and whatnot, even Valverde. But looks like everyone's returned.
Yeah.
Everyone was there in training. Rodrigo was back in full training this time. Lucas as well. So we pretty much have
Yeah, like
most of our starters back.
yeah, like I read this report in the morning today, which is I think this is why Guillermo Sanchez, who was from the Athletic, he did say that Jude and everybody, like Brahim, and if they are fine and they're gonna play against Getafe, just knocks. They need to rest, but nothing major that's gonna happen. But I do see right now that Rodrigo did post something like "Here we go" on Twitter.
He used
So
the
I'm
exact
hoping,
same words. Here we go.
yeah, here we go, and there is a sand clock emoji. So looks like things are positive. I would love to have Rodrigo, man.
Yeah.
He's love Rodrigo back. And I feel for Kylian Mbappe also, when you're struggling, missed a penalty against Liverpool, you're playing on your favorite position. I would want to play Getafe, man. Like I would not want like a Liverpool, or I mean, it's gonna give you confidence, a goal here and there. We spoke about it, like what if Barcelona he scored that goal, the confidence level. But a game like say if he gets a brace or something, like two open play goals against Getafe, or say he's hitting the target more, he is getting that confidence back to dribble past, cut in, and shoot
Yep.
against Getafe, where he would have say the freedom to express himself like that. That would be great. And it's just gonna be a tough game because we know Getafe gonna sit back. They like sitting. Bordalas in general, as in Madrid they say, "Eso es football, papa," because Bordalas has the style of saying, this is football, and he loves saying "papa" after everything. So if you see the La Liga documentary on Netflix, also this is the trailer. Also, he says "Eso es football, papa," and I'm just like, he's just like he's that kind of a manager who would do really good in a Premier League. I feel like sit back like a Sean Dyche. He's like that guy, and he can get results. He's been getting his objectives done, which is not getting relegated for 3 years in a row now, I think, or 2 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, so hopefully, I don't know, like difficult game, but should not be. We could suffer, but I sense a victory.
Definitely, man.
Like
Like if you're losing this game or we don't get the 3 points, then I would be really worried.
oh,
Then what are
if
we doing?
we don't get if we don't get 3 points at home against Getafe,
Yeah.
uh, that will be that is crisis. That is where I also know right now that Carlo Ancelotti is had a meeting with Florentino Perez today morning.
Yep.
So that is confirmed news about what's going wrong. Because in my knowledge, what I know, Florentino Perez wants to understand where have they gone wrong, and like because it's whatever the answers are, it's not evident to the naked eye for people like us.
I mean,
We
a
are
lot of people would
questioning that.
argue it's pretty clear. The fact is that the board just did not spring for enough signings. They just thought, okay, we'll wing it. Last season it worked out. We could maybe basically survive with 3 or 4 defenders, but it didn't pan out that way. It's just not sustainable. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure for Fiorentina knows it, but it's all in hindsight, man. Like we, as fans, we had concerns, but we were at least hoping, Militao wouldn't get another ACL, Carvajal wouldn't have an ACL. Like who could see that coming? I don't think a lot of people.
Oh man, yeah, injuries are such a. It's just a. It's just like you don't want to make excuses, but when your best players are not playing, these are like when your best players are not playing, you have games phases like this where you know what kind of impact these players have. Like so. Hoping 3 points. I don't expect 5 goals. But if it's because Vinny is not playing, this is why I don't expect 5 goals. Osasuna he could deliver,
Yeah,
but I do expect goals. So if we could score three past Leganes away, I think we should score three at least against Getafe, and at least the team should have revenge on their head after what happened against Liverpool. The approach should be that like we are here, like we are not giving up that easy. We want to play for the manager, like so that should at least be the approach, I feel.
absolutely, man. Do you wanna take us through the lineups though? So as it's still confirmed, right? Chaumini is out injured. He's still the
Yeah.
only recent injury. Rest everyone is like looking back. Maybe Rodrigo even starts. That's the feeling I'm getting.
I mean, obviously it's gonna be what Lunin. No, Courtois. Courtois is back. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Courtois, Thibaut Courtois, Lucas Vasquez.
Yeah.
Now he's back.
I think so. Lucas
Lucas
Vasquez,
Vasquez,
Asensio, Rudiger. We don't have a lot of
Rudiger.
choices. Do you think Fran Garcia
Yeah,
keeps a spot in La Liga?
I should, after especially Mendy gave that penalty away to Salah.
Yeah.
So I got a yellow card and he was just substituted. They were like, no. So, but see, that's the thing. We know the first choice is Mendy. So the only thing is Carlo Ancelotti, he doesn't like to tinker a lot with his first choice players. So I feel Mendy is gonna start. Kamavinga is out. So Fede Valverde comes in as the defensive midfielder. It's gonna be what? Fede, Jude, Luka Modric, Arda Güler, Mbappe, Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Brahim.
Yeah. I mean, if Rodrigo and Mbappe start, like, is Brahim starting? I don't think so. Maybe they try to put in Ceballos as well in midfield. I don't know.
Ceballos doesn't get a start. I don't want to say this also. I don't want to promote this also. I would see. I should just feel Arda Güler. I kind of liked what he was trying against Liverpool. So if the thing is, consistency is going to give him more confidence.
It's
So
not about
games like
confidence.
this,
It's about knowing what to do in the right situation. Like in Liverpool, like obviously, like he did not have a lot of options, but in the end, like he should not probably have tried to shoot from 25 yards or try to dribble the whole team. Those are things that you just come to know just from playing more matches.
Yeah. Or maybe like if they wanna don't risk Rodrigo because we have, I think after this it's Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
So they would probably start with say Brahim, Arda, and Mbappe, and then get Rodrigo on probably in the last 30 minutes to give him some minutes and see how he has recovered. So that could be the case there.
Yeah, that should be the
Difficult,
case. I mean,
man.
if Rodrigo is like not totally fit.
Yeah, then if this is the case also, then I would probably go for Dani Ceballos instead of Luka Modric. Give Dani Ceballos and Valverde the chance to play as a double pivot. Get Jude up front, or like if you want to play a 4-3-3, get Dani Ceballos there, and Jude and Fede can at least they can run.
Yeah.
And then you see with Arda and Brahim, or you make a diamond where Arda is playing as a say number 10 and Jude Fede as number 8, and you get number 6 to Dani Ceballos. Because if you get a few early goals in, then because I would rather save Modric for Atlanta. So if that is the case, but you might, how do I say, you might never Carlo Ancelotti. You don't know how we know he's not the tinker man. So
Yeah.
I don't know what he's gonna say.
Yeah, like my personal feeling is I feel like Modric is going to start, but maybe an early substitution around 60, 65th minute, Ceballos can come in. That's just the feeling I get. Because we need a result. We can't afford like a Ceballos disaster class in the Bernabeu when we just lost 2-0 to Liverpool. Like that's just not happening.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, and man, Vinny, man, like this is when you see what's where how much you miss him. So, but hoping like a result should happen, man. You can't lose this game. So I get an ugly victory. I don't care. La Liga be in that race. Champions League will handle. Brest and Salzburg we should get result. Even Atlanta. Also, Atlanta doing really good, man. If we, I would love to do the preview for Atlanta also.
Yeah.
I am, because I followed that team this season. I saw their game against Napoli, man. Gasperini, I remember he made this. He made their number 9 play as a false number 9, and Conte just lost it. Conte just did not know what was happening. Like I was just like, because I think they beat them 3-0 at home.
Yep.
And I was like, I was just like, what's going wrong? Like, because I like watching a lot of Italian football, so it's just
I believe the Athletic also put out an article saying, how Atlanta were able to beat this Napoli. Napoli was considered like, okay, the tactical outcasts or anomalies this season, but then Atlanta are doing something special as well.
yeah, exactly. So and then Atlanta, like, they won the Europa League last season, and the fact that like, how do I say, um, a lot of the football world doesn't give a lot of credits to like Atlanta, because I think they did really well. Like, they have done really well in Europe, considering what best, like what is well for them. So they've got really good results against big teams. They almost knocked PSG out in the Champions League in 2020, I remember.
Yep,
So Atlanta, and they will want revenge after that Super Cup,
definitely, man.
where we thought Mbappe has arrived.
Yeah,
Oops.
it's gonna take him a few more games to arrive fully, but yeah, it's gonna be a tough
Just
fixture list, and we need to, hope our players stay fit, and then try to get some consistency going. And Getafe is the first step. So yeah, man, Sid, give us
yeah.
your predictions on how the game is gonna go.
Uh, my predictions. See, like, obviously, see the fact that Getafe are not scoring a lot of goals, and Borja Mayoral, our ex-player, he's a doubt. He's injured. I don't know if he's been listed in the squad or not. Not. So I still feel it should be a 2-0 victory. I feel. Last time I said we could concede against Leganes, looking at our back line, but I'm very impressed with Raul Asensio.
Yeah,
That boy has a lot of courage and strength too, and also his game sense is really good.
game
Like,
sense and composure, man. Like that is just imagine like you
yeah,
that that's clear that clearance right off the line. That was man, maybe a
oh
younger
yeah,
player or another player in the same age, like they would have watched it.
yeah. And if you look at the sequence of the action, Courtois saves it. He touches the ball that's going to the goal and clears it outside like a Trivela.
Yep.
Man, like that was. I'm just like, wow. I'm just like, whew. Look, it looks like a proper Madrid man, like a structure. And I think so. I don't see, because don't see like us conceding.
Yeah,
So that should
me
be. And
too.
with Courtois,
I think 2
yeah,
0 is like a very safe, like probably the right score line tomorrow on Sunday, man. But Sunita has a comment. He says, will be interesting to see how Alvaro plays against us. Yeah, I don't know if Alvaro will start because he only has 200 minutes the whole season. He hasn't really started. He's more brought on as a super sub when Getafe tries to get a goal, but it's not really working out for him. He has maybe one goal in 10 games or something, and it's all substitute
yeah,
appearances.
yeah. But I was reading this today morning. I was reading an article in Spanish by this Getafe journalist, and he predicts Alvaro Rodriguez to start.
Oh wow.
So along with Uche up front. So he could. You might never know. But I kind of feel they are Getafe will be playing their traditional 4-4-2, man. They will be like what, the David Soria in goal, and then they would be like, like Neom Alderete, who's doing okay, and then Diego Rico, and then it'll be like that second line of defense in a way with Sola, Bari, Mila, and then Carles Ferez.
Yeah,
Was Borja Mayoral is still a doubt?
he's still
I
out.
don't
Yeah.
think. If you want, I can just check it out if they have confirmed on their social media. Usually, 2 days before the game, they let out the squad.
Yeah. While you
So
confirm, Mr. Forrest has a comment. He says, have you forgotten that wonderful curse where we have all of our ex-players score regardless of how bad their form is? I feel like we actually, okay, so Oscar Rodriguez, he wasn't able to score against us from Leganes. That was the more of a thing that was last season and the season before, man. This season, like, I haven't, like, remembered an ex-player scoring against us. Did Morata score against us?
oh yeah, man,
He
I was
did,
in
yeah.
front, and then he celebrated twice. That guy, man.
Fucking Morata, man.
Anybody else should have scored. Morata, no. Ugh.
It's
I don't
always
know.
him. But yeah, did you get
Yeah.
anything
No,
from...
they haven't. No,
Okay.
no, there is
No
no
Borja
news out
Mayoral.
from them.
Okay.
No.
Sounds good. Yeah, I
What else?
predicted 3-0 as well, man. I feel like this is probably the game to predict a 3-0. And looking at Getafe's scoring form, we're not going to concede. I believe in Asensio and Rudiger. So
Yeah,
hopefully Mbappe gets a couple of goals and, we put this week behind us.
yeah. Like, just move forward. It's so important, man. Kylian Mbappe has to get goals. So important right now. Like, I would literally, like, if the form is going bad, I would prefer an international break so that he can get his mind off, you know. But
I would prefer
hopefully,
if he actually goes to France and instead of, just being stuck up in Madrid. I don't know what's going on with him, if it's his mentality or whatnot, but he just needs to have a different perspective, especially in the international break and not just sit in Madrid.
yeah, and especially when yeah, like, and especially when you're playing on your favored position, you know, you get so much criticism. You can say he's playing out of position. Okay, against Liverpool, we give you that, give you that. Okay, you're the first time you're playing in that team on your left wing position. Against Getafe, man, Getafe is almost equivalent to what a Nice. Probably Nice are better. All those what Angers and all those French teams, where people say he was stat padding. So this is a game you have to stat pad. Like, so I just get some goals, man. Like, please give us some calmness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and he hasn't performed well at the Bernabeu this season, so he needs a few
Yeah.
moments in here
Give the
and there.
fans something. Yeah, something that shows that, I'm still the same old Mbappe. I might not be 100% right now, but you're gonna see it soon. Just some signs like that.
Yeah,
We really appreciate it. But yeah,
yeah,
folks, there's gonna be fan cams right side after the game.
yeah.
Definitely, yeah. So
Fan camps
watch out
definitely.
for the reels, for the YouTube shorts and whatnot. We're gonna be out there giving you the perspective of the fans, and for sure, there's gonna be a lot of questions around Mbappe, and stay tuned for
Yeah,
that. And last but not the least, check out our socials, our Instagram and our partner socials over at Real Madrid Committee. Give them a follow as well if you want to support the channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, I know there's a couple of new guys over here, maybe a couple of trolls from the Premier League as well. We don't mind. You can sub and you can troll us all you want. We'll be there. We'll be there
yeah.
to look into your comments. And until next time, Sid. Hala Madrid.
Until next time. Hala Madrid.